Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. Thanks so much for joining me today. I didn't mean to buy this knife, but I couldn't pass it up. DLT is one of my favorite knife companies, and for Valentine's Day, they sent me a coupon in my box that said $70 off this model, and I also had some other money saved up in my other accounts, and so I was able to buy this knife for basically $100, which seemed like a screaming good deal, and I couldn't pass it up. The Bravo was the very first Bark River I ever got. It is designed for the military, is what I remember now. I'm a little sick too, so you'll have to excuse my scratchy voice. Convex grind. This is a Magna Cut version. I've used it really hard and it's still good to go. Yeah, if I only had one knife, fixed blade, and I was caught out in the wild with this I would be absolutely fine and good to go for the rest of that journey. So this is a great knife, and they asked for a slightly smaller version, I guess, because something that would be a little bit more user friendly for general consumers and stuff. So they made the Gunny, and I'm gonna open this up and we're gonna take a look at it. But first, I'm gonna ask you to smash that like button, leave a comment. It really helps the channel, and as always, thank you to my Patreon crew. So yeah, I couldn't pass it up. $100, awesome. Like I said, the Bravo was the very first Bark River knife I've got. Got probably 15 or so at this point. Ooh, look at that natural canvas micarta. That looks really, really nice. And I usually these days go for a matte finish because I like the texture more and it feels better in the hand when I'm using it for a long time. But this is what they had, and this is what I got, and I don't regret it. Not yet, at least. This is also PS27, the steel. I'll talk about that here in a minute from what I understand. Take a look at that blade shape. I'm assuming it's going to be just a slightly smaller version of this. And it is just a slightly smaller version of the Bravo. Very, very cool. The ergos are going to be just slightly different because it's just slightly overall dimensions are slightly smaller. It doesn't mean you necessarily want to do a one-to-one shrinking of the knife. If you just do a straight shrinking of the knife, not going to end up coming out too nice. What do I know about? I'm sorry, this is PSB 27. What do I know about that? I believe it's kind of a spray form. People have compared it to a spray form version of CPMD 2. Not quite stainless, rather tough. Won't fold on the edge. A good tool steel is how I've had it described to me. I don't know anything about it. I've never had it and never sharpened it, so I don't know. Is it sharp? I think it is. So Bark River has had some quality control issues in the past, although lately I feel like they've had less. Although there was a glaring, in my experience, very sharp. There was a glaring exception to that recently, and that was my Aurora 3. Which had a flat spot on the curved belly part. So you've got a nice amount of curved belly. This is convex, of course, so it comes down. There's no secondary grind on this. Just one grind from the spine all the way down here. And, they make very complicated knives, which can lead to quality control issues. I don't see any glaring faults at the moment with this. Is it a straight one-to-one? I don't believe it is, honestly. I believe that they've only lost, they've lost a little bit of the height of the blade and only less than half, and 3/8 of an inch on the length of the blade. Yeah, it's definitely a smaller knife, but it's not like they've shrunk it crazy amount. I mean, we're talking about this is 8 3/8 overall, and this is 9. So we're talking about 5/8 of an inch. They've kind of shortened this, and yet it kind of feels smaller than that. Same amount of belly, good Coke bottle handle here. Ergos feel really good, and you've got this ramp here, this thumb ramp. I've heard people say that is for helping. I use it as a thumb ramp. That's how I use it, and for certain kinds of cuts, when you're cutting toward yourself, your finger right here is nice, and for pushing down when you're doing kind of carpentry cuts, or you're skinning bark off a stick, you're sharpening a stick, or your feather sticking. I do like that ramp. Some people do not like that ramp. kind of user's choice on that. However, this Gunny version, when I went to buy it, only had it with the ramp, but usually DLT will have several versions with the ramp and without the ramp. It would be rampless or ramps, but I like it. And I like this natural canvas micarta too. I think it looks really nice. Having different versions of a knife that is slightly larger or smaller is good for people with slightly larger and smaller hands, and also different kinds of tasks. Obviously, I'm not against having a small knife. I do have very large hands, but by the same token, there are times when I want to carry a very small, like little fixed blade, like this mini Canadian, because I can stick it in my pocket and I can still have the surety of having a little fixed blade in my hand, but it disappears in the pocket and it doesn't look like I'm carrying a little fixed blade, right? By the same token, if I'm out camping and I'm more out in the back of the wilderness, I do like having a larger knife so that I can baton with it and do some more of the camp crafty type fun little projects that you can do around a camp, whether it be making a tree nail, making a chair, or starting, lots of different things, right? So I appreciate having different ranges and models. Would I have gotten this if I, didn't essentially buy this for $100? Probably not. But having said that, the price was right. And so I went for it. Will I end up liking it? Who knows? That's part of the fun of getting a knife. I do really like this natural canvas micarta. I do like the lines. I do like the ergos. The price of this without all the coupons and everything, I believe, was around $230 or $240, something like that. You'd have to go to DLT, find out for yourself. The Bravo is a quintessential fixed blade knife that everyone who is into knives probably has come across or owned one at least. I wouldn't doubt that if you're watching this right now, you probably already own at least a Bravo. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate your time. This is just an unboxing and first impressions. There will be a full review of this knife, although it is winter, so it might be a couple of months before I come out with my review, because I usually like to take a fixed blade camping with me or out into the bush a little bit before I actually make a review of it. Having said that, sometimes I even do a third review where I do like a long-term review of a knife when I've had it for a few years and I've used it multiple times. But this will definitely get a review. So thanks as always. Leave a comment. If you would like to enter to win a knife of the month, all you got to do is follow the link down below. And for $3 a month, you can become a Patreon sponsor and you'll get entered to win a knife every single month. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.